See, the rebellious Rev can't remember back that far when he was a kid. That's how old he is. You know.
That's true.
He keeps talking about the good old days in Poland and in Israel. You know. What do you remember?
Yesterday.
I don't even remember yesterday. You're in better shape than me.
You see, Mark doesn't remember yesterday, but he remembers 50 years ago. I remember yesterday, but not 5 years ago.
Very true. Very true.
So between the two of us, we remember everything.
Well, we have to, because with the rebellious Rev in the dock.
Exactly.
You know, people look up to us. I don't know why, but they look up to us. You know, we're so small, I don't know why they look up to us. We should be looking up to them.
I had somebody today, I won't mention any names. They were talking, and they knew we had a show. And they said, I'm not calling you a show. I don't want to give up my personal information to all the hundreds of listeners you have.
100? Oh, that's great.
No, that is hundreds of.
Oh, hundreds.
Hundreds of listeners, people all over the world. They
When
don't
I-
know who I am.
When I send out notices about the show, I usually preface everything by saying, to our loyal listeners, and then in parentheses I say, all three of you, you know.
You're going to make Anne feel like she's the her Charlie.
She's very special. They're very special people. Not only do they listen, but they identify themselves. You realize you leave yourself in.
It's interesting because, you know, when I call in from time to time, you get people calling me from all over the place.
You're our good luck piece. You and Charlie are our good luck piece. Just like Dan used to be our good luck piece when the Rev or Felix and I were, depending upon which show, are getting ready to cut it after 45 minutes. Dan always used to call up. And his first question was always,
what's the show about today?
Exactly.
And
then of course he would talk about something else.
And then somebody else would call, so they would always work out.
It's true, you know. But you're right. We always, when you guys call, we always wind up getting a very good discussion going.
We got to admit some of the calls are a little bit not necessarily the same as ours, but definitely opinionated.
Yeah, but you see, we're so easygoing that our opinions sway like the people in church, back and forth, you know, when they raise their arms and they move and groove to the music. You know, we don't have opinions. You know, really.
We don't?
No.
I'm going to ask you the question now. When was the last time you went to church or temple?
Oh boy. Let me see.
Don't ask me, I don't even know.
Well, let's put it this way. When my sons were studying for their bar mitzvah, they had to go attend services. And we belong to a Reformed synagogue. Now, if I say this, people are going to laugh, but if there's no bar or bat mitzvah scheduled for that weekend, there are no services, not Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you know, and they only have services usually on a Friday night, if at all.
Where is this?
It's Our Lady of Avoda. That's what we call it, Our Lady of Avoda.
What is it?
Avoda.
That's not the name of it, though.
You went to the boys' bar mitzvahs, didn't you?
But it's not called Our Lady. What is it actually called? Voted what?
It's called a Jewish center, Avoda. Avoda is the name.
Voted Jewish Center it's called?
Yeah, but we call it Our Lady of Avoda because it's one step above Catholicism. Islam. That's going to get a lot of enemies. Uh-oh, they're going to take out a fatwa on me. It's a good thing they don't know where I am or what I look like.
Well, he's 5'16".
Oh, I wish, let me tell you.
He's tall, dark, and handsome.
That's right. As I used to tell my students, you know, when I started this job, I was 6 feet tall, 185 pounds. Now I'm 5'1", 235 pounds. Now I look more like a basketball than a football, you know? What can I say?
You don't weigh 235 pounds.
You're right, I don't.
You weigh 265 pounds. Anyway, we're just pulling our hair out trying to get this thing to work. So we finally had to go to the backup system.
Yes, the good old, we called ourselves is what we did. So we're using the telephone on speaker.
And it connects to the show online. It's crazy, but it works.
Yeah.
Well, before, only both our mics were working, but then mine stopped working, and only his was working.
Well, I have to look. The first 15 minutes, that was definitely my fault. I entered the show. I did all the typing. The one thing I forgot to change, which I always do right away, is it's always on for 15 minutes, and I have to change it to 120 minutes. Well, I forgot to change it to 120 minutes, and the next thing the Rev and I knew, they were saying goodbye to us. You know, that's it, folks. The show's over.
That's when I logged in. I heard Philip say, "You didn't pay the time, you know, that was such 15 minutes." And you were like, "Oh my God."
That's it. Well, you know, it sounds better if I admit to that than say we didn't pay the bill. You know, I mean.
Yeah. We didn't pay the bill. We wanted to go back on, but then they didn't want to let us go back on because we're only allowed to do one show a day. And they said you did it. So Mark got to call him and beg the forgiveness and let us go back on for a few minutes.
Actually, you know what I think it was? Originally, when I entered the show, something happened, and there was an error. And I tried to enter it again on the 24th, and it wouldn't let me. Because it was already, you know, the show it was already programmed. So I couldn't change the date. So I bet you that's when it happened for the 15 minutes.
I don't know. But anyway, we're on. And if we survive a half an hour, 45 minutes today, we're good.
Yes, we have all our shows outlined. Today is Revivalist, Old Time Religion, yada yada. Monday is pre-election. Pre-election?
Really?
Is that what I said? Pre-election?
I don't remember.
Because I entered it. Next Friday, Felix and I are going to be donning our Halloween costumes. We're going to look very much like we do right now, I think.
Exactly. We're always dressed for Halloween.
That's true. And the following Monday, the show is entered for also talking about the elections, because it's the day before. We've got to get out that vote. So we were pretty much scheduled in advance.
But how are you going to put a religious twist to Halloween?
I'm going to give them the... Oh, that's easy. You talk about the Celts, and you talk about the Druids, and you talk about the origin of Halloween. You know, Anne's a good Catholic girl. She knows that Halloween comes from, I'm giving it away, All Hallows Even, which is the day before All Saints' Day. Pretty good for a little Jewish boy, right?
Right?
Yeah, exactly. I get all my information from Charlie Brown. The great giant pumpkin, Charlie Brown. You know, exactly. He tells me all about Thanksgiving, when it's Thanksgiving, and Christmas. you know.
Yeah. That's how you learn.
Exactly. But the Rev has a bunch of songs picked out for today. You know, if you want to go get a cup of coffee and relax for a while, we may even put one on. Oh, we always drink coffee. You know, I'm as the intern, it's my job to make sure that the Rev's cup runneth over.
You know,
So
Mark can't sleep at night,
I really can't.
but he drinks coffee all night.
No, I drink coffee all day. Actually, because I miss the old revivals. You know, the old travel down south, the old tent services. You know, where they're playing the organ and they're passing around the bucket. You know, and they got one song after another. To me, that's what ruled that day, at least as far as the New Testament goes. To me, you know, the good old Baptist service, you know, and, you know...
I think they still belong on that.
They do. They go on home, whatever it is.
Well, you see, because many African Americans originating from the South, you know, were Baptists, but I mean, down south, Baptist churches are filled with white people for the most part, you know, if they're not segregated. But I mean, they're filled with white people, and they do the same thing. It's like, you know, reborn Christians, you know, they lift their hands up to the heavens, and they're swaying back and forth, and, you know, it's almost like Jim Belushi and the Blues Brothers when he comes jumping down the aisle, you know, him and James Brown, you know, they start dancing and everything. I'd like to see Felix do that.
We're on a mission from God.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think they were looking over too.
Yeah. Just not as strong as that's all. You know, here in Colorado, we have a whole other story altogether. Think about that. We've got the entire Bible Belt, fermentation legalized marijuana.
And listen, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of the churches have their fingers in the till already. You know, they're getting their cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's holy water, now there's holy grass. All right. We're going to do this quietly as we talk. Can you hear me, Ann? Ann? Ann, can you hear me?
We promised her that if we put on music, she can go get a cup of coffee and relax.
Well, I don't know if she wants to. No, I don't know where it feels like we're in an old revival. Anyway, let me turn that off. That was enough of that. How's Charlie? Is he falling asleep listening to this?
You know, it's been a long weekend. The whole, I mean, I don't know if you saw all of the stuff that I sent over this morning from, you know, various organizations, but there's just been a long month.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on, I know. Hopefully it'll be for the positive.
Yeah, I know. That's why I sent that message. I think this is the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
You know, the holidays are coming up, and you know, it's just, you know, so we'll see.